The mastermind of this conspiracy would get very rich, and the people who bought these cards on the black market would then use them to buy whatever they wanted. In the old days, something of this scale would have required a criminal mastermind to convince thousands of store employees to covertly write down card numbers and then funnel those card numbers back to a single person. Can you imagine an evil organization like James Bond's nemesis, Spectre, controlling the cashiers in a large retail chain, with each cashier faithfully following orders from the top of the evil organization as they pilfer card numbers? Unfortunately, this scenario is not very far from what really happened. The reality of most retail data breaches is that the criminal mastermind did not have to convince the employees to write down credit card numbers. They only had to instruct the computers in the cash registers to write them down and send them to a central point where the perpetrators could collect them. Because computers don't reason, they only do what they are told to do, there were no moral obligations to overcome. Once the attacker got in a position to send instructions to the cash registers, he was able to create an army of loyal servants that dutifully wrote down every credit and debit card number they saw and sent it back to their master. This is what essentially happened in all the retail store breaches. However, on December 18th, the day the Target story broke, the full scope of that breach was not yet clear. However, as people realized that their credit and debit cards may be at risk, the news spread quickly. The next day, December 19th, Target publicly acknowledged the attack, and customers flooded Target's website and customer support lines. For many people, this incident stands out as their introduction to cyber attacks. This introduction was only reinforced as more and more retailers began announcing their own breaches. Many people learned that a data breach is simply when someone breaks into computer systems and steals data. They also started to question how secure computer systems actually are. For years, people thought that as long as they had antivirus software, they would be safe. If for some reason people really wanted to raise the security bar, they would buy something called a firewall. Antivirus was good enough for most of us, but if you added a firewall, then you were impregnable. After all, hadn't the IT security industry been around for a while, and weren't those products the foundation of the industry? Based on this logic, many people were asking, how could all these breaches happen? Didn't those companies have antivirus or a firewall? As it turns out, all of them did have antivirus, numerous firewalls, and many of the latest and greatest IT security technologies protecting their computers. Unfortunately, these defenses were not enough. By the end of 2014, Jimmy John's, Neiman Marcus, Home Depot, Sally Beauty Supply, Michaels, P.F. Chang's, Goodwill, BB, Kmart, Staples, and many other businesses were also breached, and many millions more credit and debit cards were lost. This massive stolen data program obviously wasn't just an issue with how one company approached security. With so many retailers being breached, this was an issue that ran across the entire retail industry. How could attackers break into secure computer systems and the cash registers that sit behind them in order to change the instructions on those cash registers so that they became part of an evil droid army? To make matters worse, it was not long after this disturbing news that the public started hearing about potential breaches in the power grid. The grid is made of much more than just the wires that bring electricity to your home or office. The power grid is a very complicated system that manages the supply and flow of electricity, ensuring that the wires going into your home or office have enough juice to power the lights when you flip the switch. Old stories of a computer-based attack destroying a power generator started gaining new life. At the same time, stories of companies losing sensitive corporate data through computer breaches started becoming more prominent. Before long, cybersecurity was and still is on the minds of many people. The public suddenly realized that cyber